Shalom, everyone, and this is Shaul Youdkevitch from Live Kabbalah in Jerusalem, Israel. And our topic today is basically kind of a general about what we are and what we're doing over here. And this is the issue, the very important issue of monotheism. Monotheism is the biggest innovation in the history of mankind. Started some 4,000 years ago by Abraham the patriarch. Now, why is that important? Because a lot of people today don't see any connection between their own individual life and religion. Monotheism is not religion. Monotheism is much bigger than religion. It's a state of mind, it is a consciousness, and it is the key to understand ourselves and what is humanity going through right now. So let me explain. 4,000 years ago, there is a guy, Abraham the patriarch, Avraham Avinu, who came with this amazing idea that there is one God. What's in it for us? And we have to understand that when we go backwards to the world before Abraham and even after, because it's the fact that Abraham came with this great idea doesn't mean that humanity adopted the idea immediately. And you know what? You will realize in the next few minutes that most people on earth still till today, 4,000 years later, are not yet understanding what does it mean monotheism, and they do not apply it, and therefore most of our troubles are coming from that exact idea. Again, in the ancient times, there was paganism. Paganism was cruel because it allowed the abuse of the rights of most human beings. What does it mean? If you research all the stories of the gods, all of these legendary stories of the Greek gods, the Roman gods, the Egyptian gods, the Mesopotamian gods, the Nordic gods, and many others, there's one thing, one lining that you can see that is in common between all of these religions: paganism. And the idea is that these gods have no values and morals as we know them. They see something, they take it, and they're very, very selfish. Okay? Very, very selfish. Remember that because that's very important. What does it mean? I say that ancient religions, paganism, is the biggest, most successful political ideology. Why? Because the kings in the ancient world declared themselves as gods. So if the gods are selfish and they take whatever you have, so the king can be selfish and they are allowed to take whatever you have: your property, your belongings, your daughters, your wives, everything. What a brilliant idea for dictatorship. Religion. Since then, it was not the last time, but that worked for a long time. And then, so in order to understand monotheism is coming through Abraham and the ancient Kabbalistic teachings. If we go back to the book of formation, Sefer Yetzirah in Hebrew, the book that the Kabbalists say was written by Abraham or composed by Abraham, it was revealed only 2,000 years later and written down some 2,000 years ago. However, the book of formation is a book that is describing the structure of the universe. And what's special about it, that it is a monotheistic universe. What does that mean? The universe is one whole unit. Everything is interconnected. Everything is part of one big unit, one wholeness. And that means not just that we are all connected, but that means also that we can go back to this idea in chapter 1 in Genesis that says that when Adam was created, he was created in the image of God. What does it mean, the image of God? The image of God, we'll come to it later on, but the first thing, if God is the whole, which means Abraham's teachings is not that before that there was like the Olympus or Valhalla or any kind of like a kingdom of heaven in which many gods lived over there, fought over there, and we saw the result over here. But Abram was saying, Ein od milvado. There's nothing but him. What does it mean? Everything is God. Everything. Every atom, every creature, the smallest virus, the smallest bug, and animals, the biggest animals, the planets, the zodiac signs, everything. Billions and billions of stars are all part of that one that is nothing but him. But that means also that each one of us, every human being, is also created in his image. And as the great Kabbalist of the 20th century, Rabbi Ashlag says, the difference, he's just quoting a more ancient parable, the difference between a human being or a human soul and God is like the difference between a rock and the mountain that the rock was carved away from. The substance is the same substance. And therefore, if every human being is part of God, part of the whole, he deserves, or she deserves, being treated with human dignity. Not just a human being, also animals, plants, objects, everything, environment. We are all one. And there's another thing. What is the purpose of the creation? And here comes Rabbi Ashlag again, and he says, mitchunat hatov lehitiv. If God is everything, which is endless energy of positivity, love, and awesome force of light, endless force of light, we know that the energy, every energy that we know in the physical world, expands. Heat expands, light expands, electric fields expand, magnetic fields expand, which means the light of the Creator has this tendency to expand. And what is the result? Someone has to receive that what is expanding. And that's how we were created. We were created as God's customers. We're here to receive his bliss, to receive his light. We receive that and we feel it as pleasure, awakening, fulfillment, happiness, well being, which means this is our calling, and that means also that our purpose, our calling, our destination is perfection, completion, fulfillment, and happiness. How do we know? We know that basically we're not designed to be miserable. Because the moment a person goes into negative feelings, negative consciousness, depression, sorrow, and pain, what happens to our body? It collapses. The immune system collapses, the cells collapse, different systems collapse. We are not designed, we are not created to be in pain, in sorrow, and despair. This is against our calling. And therefore, when you read the 5 books of Moses and you read the other books of the Bible, you read over there that we are here to be happy. We're here to be excited about life. How do we do that? Oh, one more thing. If we want to understand our calling as mini creators, we have to understand that every human being is basically a mini creator, and therefore we accepted upon ourselves, or we were imbued or imprinted with this creator consciousness deep inside us. And what does it mean in creator consciousness? Because that will explain everything that humanity is going through thousands of years of history. Okay, now, being a creator, if you want to understand it from logic, Kabbalah, every other writings of spiritual teachings along the history of the sages coming from Moses and on, we understand that creator himself is endless giving. So we have the ability to receive, and therefore, if you want to define a human being, you will define a human being first and for all by his desires. What does it mean, his desires? Some people have huge desires, so they do things with a lot of intensity, bad or good. Some people have tiny, small desires, so they do things in very small intensity, bad or good. It's not the intensity can determine how much damage or how much good you can bring to the world and your environment and even to yourself, because it's all about desire. So what we learned that centuries ago there was a great French philosopher, Descartes, which tried to define a human being, and he said, I think, therefore I exist. But if we go to Rabbi Ashlag's teachings, it's not precise. Why? You do not think unless you want something. So, therefore, if we want to make it more correct, what Descartes was saying, we say, I desire, therefore I think, therefore I exist. And we know when we desire things big, we think big. When we desire things intensely, we think intensely. When we desire things not so big and not so intense, we think not so big and not so intense. So it's all about the desire. So our human existence is focusing around our desires. How do we know we woke up in the morning? We already want something. Is the next thing we do? We think about what do we want to do now, and then we do it. They say if we want to do it and we don't want it that much, we do it slowly. The more intense is the desire, the more intense is the movement and the action. You watch a person on the street, you can tell about the intensity of their desires from the look, the body posture, the way they move, the way they walk, the way they talk. Everything about them transmits the intensity that is within. And sooner or later, that comes out. So it's all about a desire. What is our desire? We want to receive that what we were created for: pleasure, fulfillment, happiness, godly fulfillment, or enlightenment. Because when we are full with that enlightenment, then we feel that's it, I'm there. When we are still empty, we say something is missing. Where is it? And we're trying to look for it. And this is the journey of humanity since we remember ourselves. Now, the basic idea of Kabbalah is not about what's right and what's wrong. It's not about how, because that's also paganism. Let's go back to paganism. The gods were not entities we prayed for help. The gods were entities we know in advance they don't care about us, so we have to bribe them. to pay them protection fees so they do not hurt us. The same way with selfish leaders, kings, powerful people that we still today have to have submission to them in order so they don't hurt us. And they leave us in their sphere so they can protect us from worse kind of a people. Okay? So here, Abraham comes with a different idea. Amazing idea. Do you know, guys? There is a God, his endless power of love, nothing but love, his only endless power, and therefore, whoever is endless power, he's missing nothing. And if he's missing nothing, he needs nothing, and therefore he never can take anything away from you because he doesn't need anything. He's capable only of giving. So what about like, hello? Don't we say that God took away the greatest souls, the greatest righteous people? He took it away to himself because he needed them. Did you hear some religious people saying that? So offer you to read the book of Job. And in the book of Job, there's a story. This righteous man that he was not Jewish. He was just a human being, symbolizing every human being that tried to do his best. And then all kinds of calamities hit him. And he's coming to God with, like, tell me why. Did you ever hear that? Tell me why. I just want to know why. One chapter after another, one chapter after another. An amazing poem, basically. And then it says, Vayan Elohim et Iyov min hasa'ara. And God answers Job from the storm. And he says, Efo ha'ita biyasdi aretz? Where were you when I established the earth? And basically what the Creator is telling Job, look, I didn't take anything away from you because kifoal adam yeshalem lo. The person's actions pay him back. In this world, the Creator is only capable of giving and sharing the good. Everything that happens is good. The question is, are we able to receive that good? And since, if we remember that we each one of us is a little part of God, we are in the image of God. We have to remember that with the image of God, we have three very important traits. One, we can't stand anyone giving us for free, which means we need our independence. Therefore, I met thousands and thousands of people when I was teaching around the world, meeting a lot of people. I never met happy, dependent people. The moment all what you have, your happiness is dependent on someone and something else, you're not independent anymore. It can be dependency on what people say about me. Could be dependency on chemicals, drugs, alcohol. Can be dependency in objects. When I have this house, when I have this car, I'll be happy. The moment your happiness is dependent on something else, you are not within the rules of connecting to that image of creator within yourself. Can't be happy. On the other hand, because you are independent, you can't have it from outside, and we hate free gifts. So how can I be happy if I'm not having this and this and that? That's the paganism of the modern era. We have gods all over us. Okay? Fashion, money, lifestyle, all kinds. You just name it. Each one of us from his own life. The happiness is something that has to be acquired from within. Why am I happy? Because I decided to be happy. I put some music, I started to dance, and a few minutes later, I'll be happy because I didn't wait for anyone to make me happy. Therefore, the calling of humanity is to learn to find that happiness from within, because how much light of happiness God has for all of us. The secret is there's enough happiness for each one of us. And the moment someone is very, very happy, you don't take anything away from somebody else's happiness. Why? Because if you take all your happiness from God, how much happiness was left? Is the endless. Endless happiness is left for the others. No, so that's the first thing. Happiness and independence. Now realize that for the last few centuries, humanity is looking for independence, political independence, economical independence. Now it should supposed to be psychological and spiritual independence, being independent from gurus and all kinds of people that they will determine if you're okay or not. It has to come from within, from within ourselves. That's one thing. So, as we said, being connected to that image of God within us, that's the fight of humanity to achieve real, true independence. Even those of us that live in declared democratic societies, do we really feel independent? Do we really feel that we are not under the oppression of any kind of police, mind police? You know, whoever tells you what's right and what's wrong and what's right to be happy about and what's wrong, that's the first thing. We have to learn to be independent without anybody else's permission. That's number one. You want to connect to the God within you, then there's another thing. It's not enough to be independent, you also have to be creative, innovative, resourceful. You have to be in that place that it's never bad. It's only a stage. Why? Because if we understand that the good is endless, we understand Abraham's amazing invention that came with monotheism. He invented history. Till the coming of Abraham's monotheism, the world was static. Why? People were brainwashed that what was is that what will be. Don't even expect any change. You're a slave of your government and kingdom, and you will always be. You are part of a caste of slaves, and you always be oppressed. You, your children, and rebelling against that caste system will be death sentenced because it's against the religion, it's against the God of paganism. And here comes Abraham, and he says, we were created in the image of God, however, we messed up. That called Adam's sin. We are all part of Adam. We messed up. And what are we doing right now as humans? We are fixing. We are in a process. And he invented the idea of the Messiah. What's the idea of the Messiah? History. There is an evolutionary process. People and societies are only getting better because there is a boss, there is a God. He surrounds the whole world. He controls the whole world, and he pushes every atom, every virus, every bacteria, every plant, every animal, every human being, everything is being pushed up the scale, up the ladder towards the big unity and enlightenment. That's called the Messianic era. The moment Abraham invented the idea of the Messiah, what does it mean? We are all just turning better and better and better. And you know what? If we look backwards 4,000 years ago, we don't want to go back to that time. It was horrible. No rights, no hope. Even the word hope did not exist according to the research those days. Hope means that there is a light in the end of the tunnel. And what Abraham was giving to humanity is whatever you go through, you will see. If you have faith in the good, you're connected to that awesome endless power of the only one creator. And you will move slowly but surely towards becoming better. And humanity is moving better and better. You know, to go up sometimes, you have to go down from one hill in order to go to a higher hill. So even going down the nights is an opportunity for the day to shine and rise all over again. So if the moment that you understand the moment that you connect to that consciousness, there's no place for despair. There's only one place for faith in the good. And that leads you to another way of thinking, which means if everything is for the good, you become an innovator. Whatever turns sour, there's a way to turn that into something that can give you some price, some value. Everything is for the good, and that's what innovation is about. Things are not at their best, and they're waiting for me to reveal that. And the moment that I'm convinced that there's something better beyond, I'm going to look for it. And the moment I'm looking for it, I'm going to find it. The necessity is the mother of all invention. Only when you believe that every necessity has as an answer, a fulfillment coming later, sooner or later. So innovation, as we said, first humanity is going towards complete, fulfilled independence of every individual, and this is our calling. And how to do it? That's why you study. How do I apply it in everyday life? The second thing, innovation. I have to reinvent myself as a person, as a father, as a mother, as a friend, as a brother, as a neighbor, as a business person, whatever. Everything in my life has to be reinvented all the time. Did you ever see a real happy person that sits there and says everything will stay the same? No. Rabbi Ashlag is teaching us that aging is despair. People that are still connected to endless hope, they're still young. Now, what is the third part of being in the image of God? And this is about giving. Remember about being selfish? You cannot be selfish. Remember, Kabbalah is not philosophy. Kabbalah is closer to science. That's the world I came from. I was drawn into Kabbalah because it was not, I could never understand philosophical ideas. Why should I listen to somebody else's imaginations? I need to see the proofs. I need to see it working. And what the Kabbalists are saying, you need to be independent. One, you need to be innovative. Two, and creative. And you need to be a person of sharing and giving. That is number three. Is it easy to give? No. But is it easy to be independent? No. Independence comes with a lot of hard work. Being innovative, is it easy? No. That comes also with a lot of hard work. And sharing, especially sharing out of our comfort zone. Being there for someone else, loving others as yourself. The verse goes into, and I'm God. You want to connect to God, to the God within you, and to be part and one with the universal God, with the whole universe, and to flow with that, which is called good luck and good fortune, you have to vibrate on the level of consciousness that is being a creator. So you have to overcome the dark side that we did it's inside each one of us. Why? Because you have to earn it. Easy comes, easy goes. So here we are, starting a new program, offering it to everyone else. Live Kabbalah is for you guys, for all of us, to learn how to move with that flow that humanity is on it for thousands of years and get the best out of it and enjoy and see that everything's for the good. All the best and success. Thank you from Jerusalem.